Just while I'm here, this is a perfect example of what's wrong with the world. You've got a homeless guy over here who doesn't have food to eat, and then you've got people flying here from overseas to see Wall Street, to see the hub of the financial world. On the same corner is a guy without anything to eat. Let me say here is intended as personalized trading advice for you. Make your own decisions, do your own due diligence, and live with the results of that. I'm photobombing so many photos right now. There's people taking pictures like right of me to get the backdrop. Hey, I'll wait all night, baby. And you guys know there's a pendulum between greed and fear, and I typically lean more towards the fear side. If you protect your wealth, you don't make a mistake. Able to live to fight for another day. You want to, number one, do not lose your money, especially if you're dealing with sub $5 stocks, penny stocks. You have to be so careful because it can be so easy to get wiped out very easily. And when I was talking about how I got started in the first place, I made so many mistakes that I never would make those mistakes again. For example, I didn't look into the company. I didn't even know where they were based. I didn't even know what their financials were. I figured if it's on the stock market, then it must be regulated. It must have some kind of value there. Not necessarily the case, and you're going to learn that especially with penny stocks. And they're like magnets. What happens is a low price share, it's very easy to manipulate the price, so a lot of bad actors will buy up all the shares of whatever sub penny stock that they can find, and then put a bunch of lipstick on the pig and talk about it and promote it like crazy. The share prices go higher. These guys have bought millions of shares, and every penny that it goes up, they're making $10,000. And it's a lot more than that. They're making millions of people who don't understand how to look into a company properly. Just to give you guys an idea about what I'm up against here, you know, I don't like filming out in public around people, but just to see what's going on, the kind of stuff that I'm dealing with right now, check out this. And that's not even mentioning the poor guy over there, a homeless guy who's got Tourette's, and so once in a while you might hear him shouting out something or other. I figured I'd tell you guys a little bit about how I originally got started. I guess all getting started is originally. So how I first got started, I had a few $1,000s that I saved up, and I didn't spend it on comic books and bikes like some of my friends. I was a kid, I was 14 years old, and I put all the money, I said, how can I make this money make more money? And I figured the stock market is a great place to start. So I thought, I'll buy a stock, but I only had a few $1,000s, so I thought, you're not going to really change your life if you buy shares of IBM or shares of General Electric. Even if it doubled in price over the years, you're still not really making that much money. So I took all my money, and I had to go through my mother's trading account, and I said, well, what would make more money than a big blue chip stock? I said, penny stocks. You want to turn a small amount of money into a lot more? And I jumped into it, and that's how I got started at 14 years old. And within 2 weeks, one of the best things that ever happened to me, but I didn't realize it at the time, is that I got wiped out. I lost all my money that I'd worked hard for and saved up over the years. I just got it all wiped out. And you lose a lot more than the money. I say this all the time. You lose the excitement, you lose the confidence, you lose all the things that drove you into that in the first place, and you feel bad about yourself. But I could have gone and walked away with my tail tucked between my legs, and sometimes I think I maybe should have done that. But I said, well, if you can lose that much money that quickly, maybe there's a way to make that much money that quickly. And I set about figuring out how to do it. And that's when I started paper trading, when I was trying to learn how to invest, but I didn't have any money. That's why I say anybody can start with zero. Pretend you have $100,000. Invest out of anything you would have invested in. Keep track on paper. You would have bought $10,000 of that, $5,000 of that. You wait and you see what mistakes you make. You wait and you see what kinds of investments are paying off, what you're good at. And so by paper trading and reading a whole ton of books from all continents, figuring out how to invest better, I got up to speed pretty quickly, and then I realized that on paper I started to do pretty well, and I eventually got back into trading real stocks. And then eventually, when I started seeing benefits and profits from what I was doing, plus knowing how to avoid the mistakes that I made when I got started, that's when I started writing what was actually a book in the first place, and it became the newsletter. And it was a printed newsletter, and we would fold it up and staple it and mail it to people before the internet. This is back when the internet was dial-up, where you have to listen to the dial-up tone to try and get into anything, and the internet was so new, no one knew what it was. I know I look young, but I take a lot of vitamins. I'm much older than you think, even though I'm a lot younger than just about anybody out here that's thinking that they're going up against me. And as I started getting better and better at it, I started being good at helping other people avoid the dangers first and foremost, and then also understand how to make money in investing. That's when I started growing a bit of a following, getting a bit more known, and that's when the world's largest business book publisher of all, Wiley & Sons, approached me to write Penny Stoks for Dummies. Actually, the first book they approached me for was a book about penny stocks, and that was a book that I'd already written that was sitting in the hopper waiting there, and they said, can you write a book for us about penny stocks? And I said, oh, you mean like this one? And I gave them the manuscript I had written. That's a great example of being set up in the right place at the right time. They said, yeah, right on, and that's what led to the Dummies books, edition 1, 2, and 3, plus a couple other published books. And then Forbes approached me to write for them as a paying contributor, and then Investopedia also as a paying contributor. And the worst thing happened, that they've taken the bulletin board stock exchange and they've melded that with all the dark market exchanges. And I always tell you guys to avoid dark market exchanges like OTCQB, OTCQX, the OTC markets, the pink sheets. They're terrible, and all the bad companies go there, and then all the manipulators go there as well, and they promote these companies. All these companies are horrible investments. Well, what I would do is I would suggest that you go to the bulletin board exchange, OTCBB, because that was run by the NASDAQ originally, so there's investor regulations, investor visibility requirements, all sorts of good stuff that can help you as an investor still find the good companies or the bad. There's still a lot of bad companies, but you can still have more access to the information to be able to find the good companies. But then what happened is that the bulletin board has been melded in with all the garbage exchanges, and now you've just got a big pile of garbage that you got to sift through. And that's why I'm getting a little bit nervous about writing the fourth edition or fourth edition of Penny Stoks for Dummies, which they already have me signed on to do, because it's going to need a complete rewrite. Because in the book, a lot of times I say, number one, avoid the dark markets. Now, what are the dark markets? Some of the good stocks are there as well. You're looking for a needle in the haystack, so what you need is a flamethrower. Let us at the peterleeds.com team be your flamethrower. And remember, if you want to do proper due diligence, you want to learn how to do that, and you want to learn what you should be looking at for any company, all this stuff is freely available at peterleeds.com, as is a lot of information about how to paper trade stocks so that you can invest with no risk and no money. You want to get started in investing and you want to learn what to avoid, the mistakes not to make, that's all the stuff that we're going to give you and lead you along with, so that you know how to then find the really high quality opportunities, the good quality companies. In a low price stock, shares that are trading for less than $5 each, all those are shares, slices of a company. So if you know how the company is going to run and operate, what kind of environment it's making a footprint or establishing itself in, then you can find the companies that are going to increase operationally. And when they get better and better operationally, they cut down on costs, they increase revenues coming in, the share price often follows suit and goes to higher levels. There's a lot of things to look at, and there's lots of warning signs and risks, but we point you to those and tell you what to avoid. And once you avoid all the risks, then it's all about finding a really good high quality company that you can invest in and feel confident in and own it for a long, long time as it increases in price. Hey, I'll show you guys the Trump building. It's right over here. I'm not saying nothing, I'm just saying that's the Trump building. Some people might be interested. Alright guys, this has been lots of fun, but I gotta get back to the world I'm used to soon. Like I told you, 3 more nights, 1 more night here, 3 more nights at the Lower East Side, and then back to Toronto. You might get 1 more video from me before I'm home in Toronto. That'll be from around about my daughter's apartment. We'll see you guys then, and thank you for being a subscriber. Thank you for watching these videos. We love you guys. We do this for you. We do it because of you.